Welcome everybody. Let me fix this lighting right quick. We'll do that. So, welcome. First time in a long time I did a soapbox episode. So, what are we talking about? The topic that is been talked about all over. So, contracts or no contracts. Okay. So, and follow me here because what I'm about to say is going to seriously make a lot of sense. Okay. So, yes, Dustin, put the kid to bed and hop on in here and see what you got. So, contracts in the sport of arm wrestling, right? And some people think it's not a good idea, right? We've seen the pros and cons of contracts. We've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, and right, wrong, or indifferent, right? So, the bad about contracts. I've seen contracts in the past from other athletes where they sign a contract and maybe they didn't get what they thought they were going to get. But when you sign it, you're committed to that particular situation no matter what. Okay. Drew, what's up? Scott Evans, what is going on? Okay. And for example, and this is not a slight on like UAL, WL, but there were times when people signed those contracts, and at the time, at the moment, it sounded like a good idea. It felt like, hey, I belong to something. That's pretty cool. And you sign that contract, and next thing you know, it's like, oh, okay, but I can't do anything else, right? So here's my thing with contracts, and then this will kind of blend into what we're about to really get into the thick of things, right? So, oh, Paul's live too. All right. Here's the deal, right? So, the only time I thought contracts would make sense, and let's go ahead and just do this for an example. Let's just say Knuckles Up calls me. Let's just say Chris and Will's like, "Hey, Jody, guess what? Hey, what's up, man? If they tell me if you sign a 1-year deal, right? 1 year, that's all. We can guarantee you at least 3 matches, maybe a fourth. How does that sound?" So the thing is, though, is you got to look at it this way. Okay, you're saying, and I hope it says it in wording, that if I were to sign this contract, you are guarantee me 3 matches. No ifs, ands, or buts. Now, the small print is what people, may or may not, be accustomed to. You may not commit to anything else, yada, 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 yada. Now, if I'm guaranteed to have 3 events like that, would I sign it? Probably, under these conditions. The fact that all I got to do is just train for Knuckles Up and be ready for the next call and train. Because if the contract says I am getting 3 matches no matter what, then there you go. 98% in the house. There we go. Carolyn's in the house. Good. Now, what does this have to do with the actual big topic? Let's get to the meat of it. Excuse me, I'll take a sip of coffee. Who drinks coffee at 6 o'clock at night, right? So now, here's the thing. What's up, Brian? What's going on, my man? So we all know about Ryan Bowen. I'm pretty sure this topic's been beat to death. However, how does that relate to what I was talking about a second ago? It's because are we at a point now in this sport where we got to have a signed contract, right? So we all know the story. I'm not going to get too deep into it because we all heard about it, right? Did Bowen make weight? He says yes. Some people said no, this, that, and the other. I agree to whatever. So are we getting to a point where promoters who are in charge of these, awesome events say, look, this is what we need to do here, okay? Puller A, puller B. Y'all need to come to agreement on what you want to pull on. Then let me, in this case, the promoter know what's going on. Now, there also has to be an agreement where, okay, we do a press conference. We're going to weigh either before the press conference or after. That needs to be addressed too, so all the athletes know what's going on. Now, it was talked about that Bowen kind of weighed in 48 hours before. Okay, fine. There are situations where, depending on where you're coming from, if you have a long, long flight, then yeah, you may put on some weight. No big deal, right? But here's my thing. I know we're not UFC. I know we're not boxing because those sports, got big time money attached to that. However, we're athletes. So it's up to the puller to be responsible for themselves, right? Meaning that we'll take my match, for example, March 21st. Guys are flying from the UK, Team USA, Team UK at Arm Gods at Winter Blast. Check them out, by the way. I am pulling for the Independence title. What does that mean? That means I need to be at 105 kgs, right? That's 231 pounds for us Americans, right? I need to be weighing that, okay? Seriously. Anything below, fine, whatever, but I need to be weighing that. Out of respect for my opponent, out of respect for the promoters and the organization. That is my due diligence, right? All right, let's get some comments up in here. Oh, yeah, my man. CO. Bowman's drama was calculated and has already created 10 plus hours of podcast content designed to generate income for talking. Yeah, well, pundits, that might be me too, Hey, but the thing is, my whole thought was like, does he get invited back? Well, he is who he is, so I'm sure he will. But will it be under the KU brand? Who knows, right? Nathan McCollum, you still need to be professional and make weight you agreed upon. And that's the thing, because I really feel bad for Tom in this instance. Even Tom said that because the agreed weight upon weight was 86 kg, okay? I don't know what that is off the top of my head. Somebody hit me up because I don't pull that weight class. Now, from what we heard, Tom said, hey, guess what? I don't mind you pulling 90, just don't go over. That's what, 190 pounds? Just don't go over 90 kg, right? Now, he came in at 99, I guess. Then there was talk about he had a different kind of weight scale and this, that, and the other. It's like going, having technical difficulties. Sorry about that, y'all. So anyway, here's the thing. Do promoters going forward, I don't know what KOTT does. I don't know what East vs. West does, or arm guards or anything like that. I do know from other sports, they have this thing called a catch weight. Now, if I'm pulling for a title or competing for a title, whatever the case may be, I need to weigh a certain weight. And if for some reason I don't make that weight, then it's a catch match. You don't get the title whether I win or not. I don't get the title, or I forfeit my purse. Now, I know that we as arm wrestlers, we're not there yet. But still, out of respect, we got to make sure, hey, do what we need to do, people, But how much of this, Marcus Thompson, you're here, right? How much of this do promoters need to step up and go, okay, if we're going to have these events, to make sure this, circus doesn't happen on our promotion, do we need to sit there and put some contracts, in play? So that means Mac, Ian Carnegie, JJ Jackson. That means Arm Gods, Marcus Thompson, Paul Maiden, Neil Pickett with Arm Wars. List goes on and on. The guys at Montana Armbender, right? Magna with Global Elite, AWC, AWE down in Australia, whatever the case may be. KU, do we need to put in contracts, right? To where, okay, if I'm going to bring this athlete on, and I understand, with this point, and I'm going to sit there and guess what Will and Chris were thinking. Because I heard Ryan was said, hey, we agreed upon the weight. Hey, you guys handle it. Just between you guys. And I'm sure that, if it's a money thing, hey, it's between you guys. You guys figure that stuff out. But, looking at now, to make sure that doesn't happen further on you guys' event, this is where you probably need to say, hey, you got to weigh in the day of the press conference, right? And before I go any further, we got another comment. I do appreciate bringing up the 2-hour weigh-ins. The 24-hour weigh-ins make it more about who can dry out better, not who can show up and compete at their actual weight. You know what? And I'm glad you brought that up, because how often, and we'll go MMA, right? How often do you have men and women who compete at that level? Hey, I got to be 187 pounds, right? They cut down to that. Their match is Saturday. they make weight on Thursday, and all of a sudden now they're 206 kind of competition day. How fair is that? You know, I mean, if you're gonna put all that food in your body, it's all going to your gut anyway, right? It ain't gonna go throughout your whole. There is nothing that's gonna make you that much stronger in X amount of days, right? Than you already are. Let's get that straight first, okay? So just kind of understand that going, forward. But yeah, I do understand that, and what can we do? Some of the stuff that's been going on lately in our sport, and this is why we've all asked that golden question: how can we get our sport on mainstream? We've tried and we tried. At some point, I think it will get there, but we got to stop all the dumb shit. Let's see here. Oh, okay, I'm almost 11 minutes in, so I can start cussing now. We got to quit all the dumb shit, okay? Stop having some promoters. I'm not going to mention their names. They know who they are. Stop those promoters ripping off athletes, right? Stop that shit. Stop having other promoters rain on other promoters' tournaments and stuff. Quit all that, We, as a whole, are not going to move forward with the sport we all train and love and do, right? If we keep up this dumb charade. We need to stop all that, That's my soapbox, right? So we need to cut all that stuff out. So where does it stand now? Does Knuckles Up say, hey, you want the rematch? Fine, but you got to weigh in on our scale, the same scale everybody else weighs in on. Does this match go to Arm Wars? Who knows? But seriously though, it's almost like, what the hell are we doing here? Come on, man. You got more respect for your opponent, because you got to remember, Tom flew across the pond, right, to get here. So either A, well, sorry, he didn't make the weight. And I think Ryan did mention in one of his posts today, or actually he was talking to Ozzy Arm Wrestler. He told him, it says, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. Now, if he said that, who knows? We'll see where that goes. Marcus says it needs rules. If you leave a gray area that will give the pullers the opportunity to abuse it, which is normal thing in any sport, I do the same thing if I was a puller, and some people will do that, but like I said, for me, it's all about respect, out of respect for your opponent, and the promoter. That's all it is, because you got to remember too, especially the promoter, right? They want you on their show, right? The last thing you want to do is go to their event, which they want you there, and you show up not 100%. But you downplay because you still want the match. Then if you happen to lose, then it's like, oh, I wasn't 100%. We've seen that before too, right? So out of respect, you got to come in shape, 100% ready to roll. If you got to make a certain weight, make a certain weight. No big deal, right? So now, how much should some person cut? Well, a lot of it depends on, hey, if somebody told me, Jody, you got 8 weeks to pull somebody at 220. I'm thinking, I'm going to tell you right now, I ain't going to make it. There's no fucking way that's going to happen, 231, that might be doable. 220, no, that's not going to happen. So, one has to wonder, when you're matchmaking, promoters going forward, okay, I want to put you and you together, do you need to put a weight cap? And I don't want to do this because maybe promoters don't feel that way. Does the organizations, whoever they are, need to have some kind of weight class ranking? That way, hey, where do you fit in at? Okay, that's the group you compete against. But then again, you don't want to sit there and do that only because you got a lot of people. So I don't know what it is. Just say maybe something has to happen to where we don't get into this kind of stuff, So Mr. Thompson says, if you offer flexibility, then make sure communication is clear to the paying audience, the pullers, and the online viewers. Imagine if betting was involved, the promotion would get the blame. Exactly. So that's an awesome point. If there was betting on this, now that's a serious issue, right? Because now all of a sudden it's like going, what the fuck? Ryan won, and then I guess it got overturned or something like that. So, you got to look at it as a whole, right? Do we need to start doing that? What does everybody think in the chat? Do we need to start having contracts for these events? As I take a sip of coffee, feel free to go ahead and comment on that. I would love to hear what you guys got to say. Other than that, everybody, welcome to the show. Lucky, LeDrew, Marcus, Carolyn, CO, Ryan. Everybody's in the house tonight. 98. Loving it. Nathan. Glad you got Dustin. Glad you guys can find time to hop on here. So, what we got? If Bone was 219, he's still 10 pounds over the cap with a serious water cut. So again, I mean, when I first heard about this, I sat there and wondered, did he even touch 87 kilos or 86 kilos? Did he even like actually make that? One has to wonder, right? Who knows? But oh yeah, the fact that, again, we've done tournaments years and years and years, right? Okay. And usually what happens when you register, you weigh in, it's the scale everybody's weighing in on. Not the scale that you got at home, not the scale that you had, back at your place, a few days ago. Take a video. Hey, here I'm at, I made the weight. Like, we can't be doing that either, So I don't know. What do y'all think? So I'm gonna leave it to y'all. I'm gonna leave it to y'all to figure this thing out. Be sure to leave comments. I just want to get that out there because I thought it was kind of messed up the way that whole thing unraveled. Do I think Ryan Bowen's a bad guy? I don't know. I mean, they say he's delirious? Is that what it is? I thought the whole thing was kind of nonsense. I thought it was fucked up and bullshit on his end because, again, who's the one that suffered? Tom. And Tom's like, what the fuck, man? I want to compete, but I don't want to sit there and just, okay, I'll compete, but none of these, this rule set and stuff. So, I don't know. We're going to have to find something out. Now the $1 million question is, because a rematch is coming, right? A rematch is coming. But the $1 million question is, who gets the rematch? Who, as in what promotion gets it? Does KU throw it out again? Do they even want to deal with that again? Does somebody else pick it up? Is it Arm Wars? Is it Arm Gods? Who knows? Is it AWE down there in Australia? Who knows? But you know what, though? I'm going to leave it to y'all. Feel free to go ahead and keep leaving messages. I'm going to get me a bite to eat, but that was my soapbox. I had to get that off my chest. So there you go. Everybody, thanks for joining me. You East Coast people, wind down and get ready to go to bed. Marcus, I don't know what time it is over there. It's probably morning time over there. So everybody, thanks for joining me, and we'll talk to you soon. Go Team USA, March 21st. Armed Gods at Winter Blast. I will see y'all there. Yes, I'm excited. Take care.